Alan Kelly with us once again. Alan, of course, CEO, founder of Playmaker Systems, playmakersystems.com, and at Playmaker Alan, he is tweeting. And we're going to get serious here because this week, we've seen how this plays out in a lot of different ways, but we are talking about a back and forth here that by some accounts can be the making or unmaking of a candidate, and that is if you appear presidential in certain circumstances. What we're speaking about specifically is Mitt Romney's reaction to the series of events that took place in Libya and also in Egypt. And I know that you've been writing about this and have traced the timeline. Just give us your overall take on how this played out and the kind of plays that Mitt Romney was running.
The overall take here is that we had a series of very classically diplomatic influence strategies employed by State Department officials, embassies, and consulates that were, very, very bounded. They were sort of sans spin. And the play that you'll see a lot is a play we call it, or the name we give to it is a fiat, not the car.
Not the car, right.
But just simply to issue by fiat, by dictate, just to say, just to give information. So we saw a lot of that as this drama, unfolded. And then, of course, Romney probably spied it, as having, competitive potential, and he weighed in. And he went outside his envelope. We've talked a lot about his having a very narrow, very constrained, what we call strategy signature. He tends to frame, he tends to recast, he tends to filter, he tends to screen a lot. He associates himself with big symbols of patriotism and republicanism. But here he went, boom, he went right to the right on our spectrum of possibilities on our Playmakers table, and he ran a play called a call out. Mm-hmm. He said, hey, you're sympathizing, and that was fairly
essentially calling the administration apologists.
Yes, he did.
That's right. By proxy in a way, because the embassy in Egypt had actually, or the embassy overseas had actually put out the original press release or the original statement, which was before there was actually a storming of the gates. And so that was one of the questions about whether he misrepresented even what was taking place. Aside from calling out for what he was saying the administration was or was not, he was calling them out on something that wasn't really the case.
Yeah, and I think that we've seen plenty now of that Romney has sort of a very eager side to him. He's ready to do it. He's ready to campaign. There's something very, very sort of preemptive about him, and so he was ready to jump, but he did sort of jump the gun, and that caused him a good bit of embarrassment, even among some moderate Republicans. Mm-hmm. So all of this, of course, gave. Again, in summary, what happened is that we went from the economy, the bad Obama economy show, if you will, over to the Obama and Hillary show, mm-hmm. which is a much more formidable pairing in an area that is certainly regarded as an Obama administration strength. And
she is not political, and just by virtue of, she is, but isn't. You know what I'm saying? In other words, her comments were not political. Her comments were strictly, in some ways, they were emotional, if nothing else. But no, they're not about. She's not addressing Mitt Romney by name or calling him out or doing anything like that.
The plays that Hillary Clinton ran, I thought they were Clinton-esque, mm-hmm. And when I say that, I'm talking about Bill, I'm talking about Hillary. She was just as pitch perfect as Bill Clinton was at the conventions, because she used a play we called a mirror. She just reflected back, evidence saying, listen, this is how we operate. This is how it works in the United States. Mm-hmm. And then she issued flat statements, again, those fiats, to say this is what we are. And so those were very, very well run plays. They were very much in bounds, very much of the diplomat. And they contrasted so sharply with Mitt Romney coming in and boom, issuing call-outs. In the end, it set up the president to sit back and make kind of a final statement. I think it was with Scott Pelley to say
Steve Croft, actually. This is it right here. Yeah, right here. Let's listen to it.
There's a broader lesson to be learned here, and Governor Romney seems to have a tendency to shoot first, name later. And as president, one of the things I've learned is you can't do that. It's important for you to make sure that the statements that you make are backed up by the facts and that you've thought through the ramifications before you make them.
As president with Steve Kroft of CBS, an appearance on what will be on 60 Minutes. So what is that play that the president is running?
He ran probably his own call out, though.
Is that what you run in response to a call out? Is another call out, or
you can? You can. There are various options on how to counter a call out, but he also recasted. So there was a two-part play, and oftentimes we'll see plays put together for a more nuanced effect. But in one fell swoop, Obama patted Romney on the head. It was really very condescending in its essence to say, "You're not ready to be president."
Right.
And I am, and I have been. And I'm going to continue to be president and presidential.
He's a young whippersnapper. He's trying to make his way into the big boy league. But, I've been here for a while, and frankly, he's not quite ready yet. He can't pitch.
Yeah.
Can't pitch the big game, Coach.
Now, of course, this is all not done at all. We're going to see a whole new slew of influence strategy and strategies take place. Is there a strategy called the ignore? Because it seems like Mitt Romney is going to be back on the ignore track today, because what he's been doing is on the economy. After the Fed did what it did yesterday, now he's shifted right back into the economic message, which is a lot of people are in poverty. Our money's worth less than it used to be. We've had 4 years of stagnant growth. Yeah, of course, we've got 29 or 30 months of consecutive job growth, but we're still at 8.1% unemployment, and we've got a record number of people out of work. So that's his message right now. So the concept of ignoring is absolutely an influence strategy. The word we give to it is a pass.
A pass.
In other words,
okay.
And it may seem like, what do you mean? You're naming a strategy where you leave a playing field? Well, yeah, because you've determined that it is maybe no longer prosperous for you to
take a knee.
You take a knee. Well, or you get out and you go to some other place that's more productive.
Okay.
And he may, it's hard to know. If there's some master strategy behind Romney's call out, that he's coming around to a second move or a third move, maybe he is playing a little chess. Maybe he was willing to sort of sacrifice a little bit of credibility on his first call out in order to come around and do something larger and bigger. I'd be surprised by that, because we haven't seen that sort of chess-playing anticipatory skills in Romney, but you never know.
Yeah, I also wonder if this long-term will matter much, only because I recall in 2008, one of the big problems for John McCain was he said the fundamentals of the economy are strong, and people were like, well, you can't say that. Or, when he said, the economy is not my strong suit, it's not my forte. And unfortunately, those were bumper stickers. With this, it's more of an attitude, Mitt Romney getting up and saying a whole series of things, very complex. It's not a particular line you can grab a hold of. It's not as harmful as, for example, you didn't build that, which is, whether it's accurate or not, it's being used effectively.
Yep.
More harmful to Mitt Romney is, I'll bet you $10,000, or a lot of my friends in NASCAR, I know a lot of NASCAR owners, or I like to fire people. Again, out of context, but easy blips, I guess, that people can grab hold of. This one, I'm not sure what it's going to mean. But to your point, you can't expect, I guess, a new, all of a sudden, brilliant strategy coming from people who typically play a strategy the same way, right? I mean, I guess you can get into a false sense of security over saying, well, the guy never runs to the left. He always runs to the right. And then all of a sudden, one day he runs to the left. But it seems like that's not in the arsenal for the Romney campaign.
We've, in our system of influence strategies, again, we call them plays, there are 24. There are 3 classes: assess, condition, engage, from left to right, no pun intended. There are 7 subclasses that go anywhere from assessing to provoking, from very soft to very red hot. And then there are 24 plays arrayed below each of them. Every one of those plays, we know from experience, has 5 or 6, maybe 7 suggested standard components or responses. In other words, every play has got a response, and it's not always just one. It can be 3 or 4 or 5 to consider. So maybe a call-out is countered by a call-out, but maybe a call-out is countered by a pass. Maybe a call-out is countered by a counterintuitive bear hug, which we've talked about from time to time. So there's a counterplay to every play given, and it ranges situation dependent.
Speaking of which, Alan brought in his iPad, which just went to mute, if you will. It just went to a dark screen because it had been sitting in front of me. But it's got that. You actually have an app now for this.
We do. There's an app for that.
Mm-hmm.
And
what's it called?
The app is called Playcaller,
mm-hmm.
and it's available newly this week at the App Store for iPhones and iPads.
Mm-hmm.
There's a basic version for 99 cents,
mm-hmm.
and there's a premium version for $4.99.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a great way for the listeners at home and not behind their wheel to play along, if you will. It allows you to go into this environment that I've been describing on air, and to determine the play that's being run on you, with you, or by you,
mm-hmm.
and what to do about it. And it only takes 4 taps to get into that level of detail.
Okay.
So it's a decision tool for strategists. It
doesn't have to be about politics, but it also is very applicable to what we talk about here.
Absolutely.
And it's 99 cents, the basic one. If you're a friend of the Morning Briefing and Tim Farley, it's 99 cents. So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the math still works the same way. It doesn't matter. And you don't have it for the Droid yet, huh?
No, not yet. It's coming.
I got a Droid.
Okay.
It's useless to me. It's dead to me. It's dead to me. Anyway, all right. And I'm fascinated because I think we're going to see an awful lot of this playing out in the debates too. Because then you're really going to start seeing.
That's right. It's back and forth. It'll be rapid fire. We are
talk
surrounded.
About provocations. I mean, that's what it's all about. Because each guy's going to try to get under each other's skin. That's for sure. Have a great week. By the way, playmakersystems.com, and that's your new email too, right?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's the website and everything. Okay, playmakersystems.com, @Playmaker, Alan, he tweets. Talk to you next week.
Thank you. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too.